Since I've moved to the Pacific Northwest, my psychic ability has expanded hugely. It was acutely tested when we stayed at a historical hotel in the Hood River. The hotel was built in 1888 and is haunted by the woman who originally owned it. I'll call her Jane. The first time we stayed, Jane walked down the hall and knocked on our door at night. After she'd done it a few times, I sat by the peephole to watch, saying nothing but hearing footsteps and knocking. She even turned the doorknob. The second night, I heard a noise in the room and looked down to see my clothes scattered on the floor. When I sat up, footsteps were running down the hall. I later found out a few employees hear Jane. Jane's original quarters were just down the hall from our first room. Underneath the hotel is a banquet room that used to be a saloon and dance hall. When I went down there, I stood where I was sure there had been a gunfight. You can almost hear the old-time piano and see the railroad workers. The original floor and pillars are still there, and it hangs heavy with memories. The second time we stayed on the floor, the first night I smelled hay and I could hear horses in the hall. The next morning, I asked the front desk and found out those rooms used to be stables. The long hall went to the street, which is how carriages entered and exited. The next night, I purposely tried to contact Jane. I went to her floor and talked to her for 19 minutes. I told her that she didn't need to stay and could move on and be with her loved ones. At first, I felt a child walk around me. I heard here a faint giggle as the little ghost hugged my legs. Then I felt a breeze and smelled a strong scent of lavender, her perfume. I asked Jane to follow me. I went downstairs and felt her behind me. I could hear her softly humming. When we got to the first floor balcony, I told her to let go and move on. I could see the glow of her spirit. I told her to go up and embrace her loved ones who've been waiting so long for her. I said that this world has moved on and there's no more place for you here. Let go and rest. I felt a squeezing around my throat and knew she was very angry. She surrounded me with a loud no. I apologized and broke the tie. I was coughing and spitting from being choked. She rushed back upstairs. I realized at the moment the reason why she hadn't moved on. She was deadly afraid of what lies beyond. She's afraid of going to hell. I wondered who the child was and hoped she'll be okay. I went back upstairs to see, but Jane was too angry to let me. I felt pressure and darkness pushing on me. It was a warning to stay away. Unfortunately, my sleep was disturbed with nightmares all night long. Jane scolded me in the shower the next morning. I knew it was her. I won't be going back there.